Hello and welcome back on my English YouTube channel about my Lego City project called Brick World, and today is the day we are coming finally back to the marketplace area. You can see it right now here, and we are going to close lots of gaps, adding some new stuff, adding new minifigures, coming close to the finishing line of that sub project here. So stay tuned for today's update. Right at the beginning we have to remove some stuff. All of these parts I'm removing right now are from the old layout that's years ago or months ago, when I was in another room, had a much smaller layout and other plans for that area here. And in the old layout there was the plan to have the bus terminal right here in front of the train station, and that's something that has changed in the last months. And now you can see I'm adding some new stuff. We have that part here on the marketplace. I added two new shops into here. One is selling honey. You can see it right now here. The other one is selling flowers and other stuff like that. And here you can see it from the front. That's custom printed parts from a store. It's called Brick Store in France. That's a French shop. And from there are these honey parts. Coming back to another building technique I'm using quite a lot in my city. It's for the cobblestone, and I'm using headlight bricks in a snot technique. That means I'm laying them on the back, using a lot of these stuff, and then later we are going to add, as you can see here in the video, we're adding round plates, normal plates, and one by one tiles, all that stuff, and that creates a nice looking way for cobblestone. You can see it here in the speed build. I just had created that part with the headlight bricks, and now I'm adding lots of these tiles and plates and round plates, and that creates a very nice pattern here that looks quite like real cobblestone and the Lego City project here. But it uses a heavenly amount of bricks, but the finished product looks quite nice, as you can see here. I added the new part here on the right side, left from the flowers, added some minifigures that already were here. And I think that's the first big goal, the first big closed gap for today's update. And that big model here, that 48 by 48 base plate, is now finished with adding all that stuff. But that's not all for today, because we want to close some more gaps. That means going a little bit back, you see that very big gap here where you can see the table, the wood from the table. There we are going to work also today. And here it is, we are working on that small place here on the right side, adding a big 16 by 16 plate, and then I'm adding a lot of plates in reddish brown. That's just a foundation for a later update. We are going to add some stones and stuff like that today, but all the wood and the trees and everything else is going to be added in another update. But that closes that little gap here. You can see right on the right side here, we have now a finished path. You can walk around a complete block of houses here now. That's something new. And that's here, it's the outer part of a restaurant I'm going to build in the future. But I have to change some of that stuff, because that's also from the old layout. So there are some big gaps that have to be closed in future updates. But let's see it. We're adding in a new speed build some of that rocks I already set, just to have that pattern coming from the cliffs of the river. And we also have these big mountain or hills on the left side from here, where there's the city wall placed on. So I want to add also some of these rock-like structures here down in the area to make it look quite realistic, because I think when there are such a big rocky cliffs left and right, we also might have some smaller stuff here. So what are we doing now? We are creating a little new model. I created that little part here with a light inside. That's a sign that will be lighted up later. And because we have that medieval / fantasy festival in the old city of Brickgate, and a lot of people are in the city. Some of them have costumes like medieval or fantasy costumes, and that's just a sign so you can know where they go to get to the medieval festival. But what we're also doing now, we are adding first time some people that are in armor. We have these two girls here that are going to take a picture of that, or so 3 guys that I'm placing right now. These are people that have armors on. They are knights, but of course no real knights, just for the fantasy or medieval festival. I think it's just a nice little story here, and that's going to be placed right now next to the city wall. That's the finished little model. You can see there's some red parts on the back side. That's why I'm connecting that little model to the bigger model, because I do not want to have that little model placed by itself. But I think that's the little story here from the 2 girls making some pictures, and that's the final location of that little model. You can see it right now here. You also see that the lights are on now, and we have closed another big gap here on the marketplace, but I'm not satisfied for today. That means we are going to add some more stuff. Especially I want to close that little gap here between our new model and the city wall, because it's just a little part, but I also need to add or to close that little part in a future update here. It's just a lot of work. You don't know, if you watch it or look at it, you don't have the ability to know how many parts are in just some little parts like that model here. There are hundreds of plates and other stuff, and it's insane. But you can see I closed that little part here between the city wall and the marketplace itself. And what we also want to do is we are going to add some more plants and flowers, etc., etc. And I think it looks quite nice. And we have closed another gap. So gap closing project for today is going quite good. And if we are going a little bit up, we can see how much we have added to our marketplace in today's update already. And yes, I'm satisfied with all the stuff we have done today. What do you think? Coming to another place, it's the side of the table. I want to hide all parts of the wood with these layers of dirt and other stuff and stones. And my plan is to add a little bit of it in every update, because it's not the nicest work. It's not very satisfying, but it's a lot of work, and I just added a little part. You can see it right here from the blending from before and after. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff left to hide. That's something we are going in the future updates step by step. And I also want to add some more little stories here, as we already did also in the underground. I also added some more of these dark it's dark, transclear dark blue, to hide that part of the river. And as always, if I'm able to buy some of these 1x2 plates with a good price, I'm going to buy them and adding them here. So that's a side project to hide that. And that's it for today. We've done a lot of stuff here on the marketplace. As you can see, when you're going back to the start of the video, you can see that a lot of gaps are closed. That very big gap here on the left side behind, that's not something we have to work a lot of. I just removed that big part model here to get easier access to the marketplace itself. But what we have to do in a future update is to close that little gap here in front of the station, and we also have to add some smaller parts here on the left side. But I think, yeah, we did a great job, and that's stuff we can do in the future to close all the missing gaps. I'm going a little bit on the other side to show you how it looks from that position, and I think it's going to be better and better, and later you can be standing here looking through that area here to the train station, and you can see the big building of the train station. I think in some months in the future that's going to be finished, all stuff, and I think it will be a very nice view looking from here, from the river down to the train station, and that's something I want to have for years. But yeah, it's a lot of work. I think that's it for today. As always, write me in the comments what do you think about today's update, and that's it for today. Bye!